My wife went on a 6-month business trip and has now returned 7 months pregnant, along with her lover, to ask me to let them stay in my house. So I cancelled my financial support and filed for divorce. You prepare everything for the big reunion. Flowers, dinner, your heart pounding. Then the person you trust the most walks through the door, arm in arm with your worst nightmare, and announces, without a shred of remorse, that this nightmare is now moving in with you. Into your home. In that moment, you have two choices: explode or smile. I smiled. And it was that smile that ruined their lives. I had been eagerly awaiting Diana's return from her 6-month business trip. Early in the morning, I arranged all the little souvenirs I'd collected for her from various places over the past half year. I also asked our housekeeper to set the table with all her favorite dishes. Just then, the front door opened, and Diana appeared arm in arm with her ex-boyfriend. I was stunned. Sam walked toward me with a smile, a sly smirk on his face. "Long time no see," he said. As I stared at my wife's pregnant belly, anger surged inside me. Sam seemed to notice the shift in my emotions and quickly stepped closer, grabbing my wrist. "Liam, please don't be angry," he said in a soft, sweet voice. "This is all my fault. If you want to blame someone, blame me. Please don't hurt Diana." His simple words hit me like lightning. I hadn't even said anything yet, but Sam had already revealed everything. Diana had been watching my reaction the whole time, ready to step in and protect Sam at any moment. I clenched my fists and looked at her. "Aren't you going to give me an explanation?" After I spoke, she sighed and said gently to Sam, "Let me take you to pick a room first." "I'll handle this." Diana's gentle tone left me speechless. In our 5 years of marriage, she had never spoken to me like that. Under my watchful gaze, she helped Sam up the stairs. The driver brought in 3 large suitcases. Looked like Sam had moved half his house here. Even though Sam seemed healthier than I was, Diana protected him as if he were a fragile doll. I collapsed onto the sofa, waiting for Diana to settle Sam in and come back to explain herself. While I listened to their irritating laughter from upstairs, I was about to go up when the doorbell rang. Diana's parents barged in with grim faces, seemingly not noticing me, and hurried upstairs. I followed and overheard Diana pulling her parents aside. "To be honest, I didn't want to hide this from you," she said. "My pregnancy is unstable in the early stages, and I was afraid something might go wrong. I hope you can understand. Sam and I love each other, and the baby in my womb is your grandchild, after all. Please don't blame him." I thought about our 5 years of marriage. Whenever I had disagreements with her mother, Diana would always say her mom was older and that I should be more patient with her. She never stood up for me. I always thought that was just part of her personality. It wasn't until today, watching her protect Sam at every turn, that I realized I had been a fool all along. Sam stepped in, taking Diana's mother's hand. "I didn't intentionally try to ruin Diana's marriage. We truly love each other. I hope you can understand, Uncle and Aunt." The look of disapproval on Diana's mother's face gradually softened as she glanced at me from the doorway. I knew she was hesitating. Over the past 5 years, I had been transferring her monthly allowance. Anyone could see Sam's financial situation couldn't compare to mine. My heart sank. Diana, as my wife, not only didn't inform me about the situation but also publicly humiliated me. Did she really think I had no backbone or self-respect? Noticing the silence in the room, Diana's eyes suddenly reddened, and she began to sob. "The child in my womb is innocent. No matter what happens, I'm going to give birth. You can scold me all you want, but I hope my child won't be hurt." Large tears rolled down her cheeks, making her look like the victim to anyone watching. Sam wiped the tears from the corners of Diana's eyes, his expression pained, his voice full of resentment. "Mom, answer her. You know pregnant women need to keep their emotions stable." After our wedding, Diana's parents had immediately started pressuring us to have a child. For 5 years we tried, and I knew they had said many unpleasant things about me behind my back regarding the family line. Diana's father, who had remained silent until now, finally spoke. "After all, Diana is carrying the descendant of our adoptive family. Everyone should try to control their tempers over the next few months. As soon as he finished speaking, all eyes turned to me. They seemed like a united front, and for a moment I felt like an outsider. I couldn't help but let out a cold laugh. No one wants to ask my opinion? Seeing my displeasure, Sam stood in front of Diana and questioned me angrily. Liam, are you deaf? We've told you everything directly. What more do you want to know? I couldn't help but laugh coldly. My wife had been on a business trip for 6 months and returned with a huge surprise for me. Not only did she not offer any face-to-face explanation, but she also had the audacity to take this authoritative tone with me. Seeing I remained silent, Diana started crying again, tugging at Sam's wrist as she sobbed. If Liam is really angry, maybe I should leave. Diana's mother, annoyed at hearing this, immediately responded, "You're carrying the heir to our family. How could we let you leave?" After saying this, Sam glared at me with fury and said, "Say something. Look how scared Diana is. Diana is carrying my child, after all. If you have any objections, you can only take it out on me in private. I won't let you hurt her." Sam then urgently took Diana's wrist and said, "Diana, please. I think this has gone too far. Maybe I should leave. I don't want to cause problems between you and Liam." He looked at me as if he were about to burst into tears, his eyes watery like a soap opera actor in their grand moment of suffering. All I felt was a mix of disgust and rage. Diana, as always, was quick to console him, wrapping him in a protective hug and murmuring words I couldn't hear but that clearly calmed him down. For a moment, I stood still, watching this pathetic scene unfold in my own home, where they dared to openly challenge and humiliate me. But a cold, almost calculating feeling took over. I had nothing left to say, but inside me, a clear decision had formed. This would be the last day Diana and her beloved Sam would set foot in my house without my permission. I had endured too much, and seeing her defend him, willing to treat me like an obstacle, like a stranger, was the final blow. I turned on my heels, determined, and went to my office. I picked up the phone and called my lawyer. I needed to act quickly before Sam and Diana's farce became even more unbearable. I quickly explained what was happening, the humiliations I had endured, and he immediately reassured me. Everything was in my name, the house, the accounts, the assets. I already knew that, but hearing it from someone I trusted gave me renewed confidence. As I was speaking with him, I heard footsteps behind me. Diana had come down the stairs, probably puzzled by my sudden disappearance. Without bothering to hide the disdain in her voice, she asked, "What are you doing, Sam? Are you going to run away from the conversation again?" I looked at her with a calmness that I think surprised her. I ended the call and put the phone in my pocket. I slowly stood up, taking a deep breath as she continued to stare at me with that air of superiority, as if she had won some kind of battle. "Diana," I began with a firm voice, "you accused me of running away. But honestly, the only one who has been running away here is you. You ran away from our marriage, from any respect we once had for each other, and now you have the audacity to come back pregnant and bring another man into my house as if I were just a spectator in your life." She laughed scornfully. "Liam, do you really think you can intimidate me with those words? What do we have? Money? Security? Do you think just because you've paid the bills all these years, you can control me?" She seemed convinced she had the upper hand, that her stance made her the owner of the situation. But I knew it was all a facade. Diana kept talking, but I stopped listening. I walked to the door and opened it with a decisive gesture, indicating she should leave. "This isn't an invitation, Diana. It's a warning. Take Sam and your bags, and leave now. I will send you the divorce papers as soon as possible, and I will also inform your family. They will not see another cent from me." Her expression shifted from superiority to surprise and finally to panic. She hesitated, trying to regain control of the situation. "Liam, you're overreacting. You wouldn't do something like this. You wouldn't be so petty." I smiled, a smile she had never seen before. "Oh, Diana. You have no idea what I'm capable of. All these years, I stood by your side, enduring every comment from your mother, every veiled humiliation. But I had hoped that one day you would see the value of what we built together. Now it's clear you never respected me." She tried to argue but was interrupted when Sam came down the stairs. Uncomfortable with the situation, he realized something had changed, that I was no longer the submissive husband willing to forgive everything. He placed a protective hand over her belly, as if I were a threat to the baby. "Diana, I think it's best if we leave," he said with false sweetness, trying to defuse the situation. "Yes, I think it's for the best," I replied, looking him directly in the eyes, making it clear I was no longer fooled by his act. "You have until the end of the day to leave. Consider this my final gesture of kindness." Sam glared at me with hatred, but I stood firm. They left the room, and I stayed where I was, watching as she packed her bags and helped Sam, wounded pride and all, without saying another word to me. The house that had been the setting for so many good and bad memories was finally free of that weight, that falsehood. When the door closed, I felt a wave of relief and, at the same time, sadness. But not for Diana. It was for the time and energy I had dedicated to someone who never truly valued me. I called my lawyer again to inform him of Diana's departure and proceed with the divorce. That night, I sat alone at the dining table, but in peace. As I ate, I thought about the future and everything I still had to rebuild for myself. I decided then that I would never again allow anyone to treat me the way Diana had, and that I would always stand my ground, no matter the relationship. After that night, when Diana and Sam finally left my house, an unexpected calm settled over me. For the first time in years, I felt I had total control over my life, my decisions, and, above all, how I would respond to everything they had put me through. But that feeling wasn't enough. I knew they had gotten off too easily, without truly understanding the weight of their choices. It was an open wound, and I couldn't leave it without a response. In the days that followed, I stayed in constant contact with my lawyer to speed up the divorce process. The house, bank accounts, and assets Diana and I shared were so intertwined that with a single signature, she would lose almost everything. For years, she had grown accustomed to luxury, trips, meals prepared by renowned chefs, a life she only had because she was with me. Now, that privilege was about to disappear, and I would make sure she felt it deeply. The first news I received was that she was desperate, trying to find a place to live with Sam. They had moved to a small apartment in the suburbs, a very different area from what Diana was used to. Sam, of course, was not at all happy with his new reality. He had come to destroy my marriage thinking he would take my place, but all he achieved was splitting the rent on a modest space with a ruined woman. Diana was also having problems at work. With the divorce, I decided to cut all partnerships and contacts she had obtained through me. I informed everyone in our professional network about the separation and made it clear she no longer represented my company in any way. The impact was immediate. Diana lost access to the connections, clients, and influence she had gained thanks to me. Now she was just another face in the crowd. For me, these steps were necessary, but not enough. I wanted Diana and Sam to feel the true weight of the decisions they had made. So, I decided to act more directly. I hired a private investigator to document their life in that apartment. It didn't take long before I received a comprehensive report. Sam and Diana were constantly fighting. He was frustrated with his new life, complaining about the lack of money, their living conditions, and especially about how she could no longer support him in the lifestyle he believed he deserved. The photos the investigators sent me were living proof that their dream was crumbling. But the final piece of my revenge was yet to come. Through my remaining contacts in the industry, I managed to get Sam a job offer, an assistant position at a small company. It was the kind of job that, for someone like him, was almost humiliating. It was exactly what I wanted. Hopeful, Sam accepted the job, thinking he could eventually climb the corporate ladder and reclaim the lifestyle he longed for. Diana, with no options, also had to accept a job far beneath what she was used to. She started working at a mid-sized company, but her reputation was already tarnished. People saw her as someone who had married for money and was now ruined, struggling to keep up appearances. One day, I decided to confront them personally, though indirectly. I knew where they usually had lunch, a small restaurant near Sam's office. So I went unexpectedly, knowing they would be there. The looks around me were inevitable. I approached their table with a smile on my face, noticing the discomfort in their expressions. Diana. Sam, I greeted them as if we were old friends and nothing had happened between us. They remained silent, visibly uncomfortable. Liam, we don't need to do this here, Diana murmured, clearly embarrassed. Ignoring her comment, I continued, I just wanted to see how you're doing. I heard life has changed quite a bit these last few months. Let's just make this quick, Sam grumbled. I let out a soft laugh. Oh, absolutely. At least I'm living in peace. I just wanted to wish you happiness. Enjoy every moment of this new life you've built together. I smiled with an expression of pure irony and turned around, leaving them with their plates and their mediocre life. At that moment, I felt truly free. They were trapped in a life created by their own choices, and there was nothing more I needed to do to worsen their situation. Diana had traded the security and comfort she had with me for an illusion, and Sam, who thought he would take my place, was now stuck in a reality without luxuries, without stability, and without the respect he believed he deserved. I returned home with a sense of satisfaction I hadn't felt in a long time. Every detail of this revenge had been planned so they would face the consequences of their actions on their own. I didn't have to lift a finger directly against them, I simply let life take its course. Meanwhile, on my end, I rebuilt my peace and my freedom. In the months that followed, I started investing in myself. I took up old hobbies again, traveled to places I had always wanted to visit, and began exploring new business opportunities. The life I was building was finally free from the shadows of the past. As for Diana and Sam, I heard their relationship didn't last long. Dissatisfied and frustrated, Sam eventually left Diana, leaving her exactly as she had started, with nothing and no one. When I learned of her fate, I simply smiled to myself. They had sown their own seeds, and now they were reaping the fruits of their decisions. As for me, I finally felt like I had closed that chapter of my life.
Reddit Relics comment. So, guys, what did you think of this story? I have to admit, I felt a chilling sense of satisfaction reading the ending. The OP didn't just free himself from a toxic relationship, he made sure Diana and Sam reaped exactly what they sowed, a mediocre life full of regrets. What impresses me the most is the OP's calmness and strategy. He didn't fall into the trap of drama or loud revenge. Instead, he used his intelligence and resources to his advantage, letting reality itself charge them the price for their mistakes. He silently rebuilt his own life while their sandcastle crumbled on its own. It makes me think, sometimes, the best revenge isn't shouting or aggression, but living well and letting karma do its work. The OP turned his life around with class. What about you? What would you have done in his place? Do you think his approach was correct, or did he go too far? Let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed this story of redemption and, somewhat icy, justice, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next stories. See you next time.